All right, Coach. Well, first and foremost, 7-on-7, you get to see the team get out here and do some amazing things because, as we know, football is year-round in Florida. Just what you can say so far.
Well, I mean, it's great. That's great work for us, and we consider it just work, just practice. I mean, we didn't lose any games today, so that was good, and I want them to learn how to compete and things like that. But more like that, it's skill development and just kind of learn kind of philosophically the things that we want to do on the field. So it was great, and it's great also. I mean, I'm not only the head coach, I'm the quarterback coach and the offensive coordinator, and 7-on-7. You got a quarterback, you can compete. You don't have a quarterback, you can't compete.
Right.
And and we thankfully have one. So we're pretty much in the mix in any 7-on-7 we play.
What's your assessment of Rex so far?
Yeah, I mean, he's really, really incredible. I mean, it's hard for people to even be able to evaluate or imagine because no one really saw Rex when he, when he started really as a freshman with us, and he really has dedicated himself unlike anybody else has. I mean, his work ethic has been incredible, and the results have shown that. I mean, you like to work that hard and then say, I have results to show for that. And he's obviously an incredible worker in the weight room. I mean, he's set every single one of our weight room records that we've ever had. I mean, that's a quarterback over any other position. And, but then he's been able to put that together with his skills, and his skills continue to develop. And the really thing that I'm, really harping on now with him is just, now you got your fundamentals down. You don't need to think about that. Now it's time for you to really hone in on great leadership. And he's got some amazing leadership skills to begin with. He's got some innate qualities as a leader. And so now he's really able to put his best foot forward with that.
What are some of the qualities that you see him give, not only on the field but off the field, that gives you that feel that he truly is a leader that can do great things?
I think most importantly, he leads. I don't know if you remember the old bumper sticker that was think globally, act locally, and that's the way I kind of evaluate the way that Rex leads. Like, Rex understands probably better than anybody, probably because of his relationship with me. He understands exactly what the essence is of what we're trying to do and what we're all about. And we're different. We're different than other football teams, and we care about different things and different priority orders than other football teams do, and Rex gets it. So Rex is kind of often my, mouthpiece, and Rex and I will talk about things, and he understands the difference. Hey, this is something for me not to talk to anybody else about, and this is something that Coach wants me to kind of, leak out there as it goes. And so sometimes it's good to have that voice out there. But what I meant by what I said to act locally and to think globally is that he understands the big picture. But what he does so amazingly is that he makes an impact with every individual guy. So he will do it, but he's not necessarily only a guy who's going to stand up in front of the group and do a rah-rah thing, and he'll do that as well.
Yeah.
But his strength is taking people one by one, evaluating, putting his finger on the pulse of, hey, this is what Coach is looking for. This is what we need to do a little better, or you do this, great job. This is exactly what Coach is looking for.
Yeah.
And I think for a 17-year-old kid, that's pretty extraordinary. And that's not something that I have really developed in him. I think it's just the way he's brought up. He's got amazing parents, and he's always been a step forward guy. So I think now that he feels comfortable and confident in his own game, that he's able to do that. And so he does. He acts locally. He acts with individual guys. And I think probably you could even though we didn't have great energy today, I think you probably feel it out there today that even the little guy who doesn't get to play a lot, if we have 75 players, even number 75 is a big Rex Culpepper fan. Like, he's really pulling for Rex to do well.
Yeah.
Like, Rex throws a touchdown pass, he's like, yeah, that's my guy, And I think if you can, kind of engender that throughout people. I mean, you end up doing it with people in the stands. Then there's this collective positive energy going towards you, and it has to bear great results. And I think that's what Rex has done. But it starts simply from just being a good person. I mean, so he really, the beginning part of that, he didn't have to work out. He just had to be him, and and he's pretty good at that.
His brother, what's it like having two Culpeppers on the team? I mean, obviously you have one like Judge, where he said, you know, I play on the defensive line, play tight end, I could play quarterback if I need to, and then you got Rex out there. What's it like having them both together?
That's great. I mean, they push each other. Rex pushes Judge more than the other way around. But you know, I mean, I think, you know, they bring a certain power. Judge is another one who's going to be a tremendous leader on our team, and he's a leader amongst the younger guys and things of that sort. I love having both of them because their personalities are actually very different from one another. You know, Rex is this really kind of intense guy, you know, and Judge has a much more happy-go-lucky element to him, you know, and it's so for both of them, it's about kind of creating some balance with two different personalities. But I think their personalities really mesh well, not only together, but mesh well with the team as well. You know, I mean, people just genuinely like Judge. They just, you know, it's like, I don't know anybody who doesn't like Judge. You know, he's just got a personality that's very amiable, and but I mean, he's such a physical presence and will be such a great player on our team. He's a pretty good player now, but he doesn't even know it. He gets leaps and bounds better like every minute that he's out here. And the cool thing is, though, is that he really looks up to his big brother, and there's a lot to look up to. And so I look at it as a coach and look at it from the outside and say that, you know, if he's trying to be his own man, if he's just trying to be Judge Culpepper, but call a lot of the good characteristics that his brother has paved the way for, that's a pretty good combination. That's a pretty good guy leading them the way. And
when you see Judge, Rex, Scoop, now Juwan Burgess, Syracuse has come calling more often and coming after, you know, HP Plant guys. And what is your thought on Syracuse?
I mean, I think first of all, Syracuse, I think the initial attraction is one thing that Coach Shafer said all the time. He's trying to get as many people who are like-minded and put them together. Well, I think philosophically, Syracuse is like-minded to Plant. The things that they care about, the things that they prioritize are very similar to what we see here. So I think when Rex looks at it and when Scoop looks at it, they see some of the same things that they've really enjoyed at Plant. They've really enjoyed the team aspect. They've really enjoyed people who care about them as people more than they do as football players, and that football becomes very good because the care for the individual will make a good football player.
Right.
And so I think that they feel very comfortable because of that. And then the one thing about Plant guys is that, and this has been true throughout the years, that if you get one of them, you got a chance to get other ones, because we're such a tight-knit family.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, man, Rex is a really intelligent guy, a really insightful guy. If he's seen something that he likes there, you know, Scoop's known Rex since 5th grade. I like that too, he'd say, you know. And so I think that, you know, you hear the word pipeline and all the time and stuff like that. I don't know if that's necessarily a thing, other than just there's something to the fact that my guy who's the face of my program really found a perfect fit in Syracuse. And if it is, and you talk about these like-minded approaches, there's no reason that other guys wouldn't be attracted to that same thing. So I really think, you know, with Scoop committing as well, and had a talk with Juwan Burgess today. I mean, he's extremely interested. And we've been away on vacation, and, you know, Syracuse had offered him. I actually hadn't even spoken to Juwan yet about it. And Juwan and Rex were talking. He's like, well, what about Syracuse? I'm like, they want you at Syracuse. And he's like, well, good, because I very much would consider going to Syracuse. And then, of course, with Judge down the road, I mean, he's too early to really, you know, think about that yet. He's got to become a good football player first, but and he's well on his way to that. But I just think that those two things, that Syracuse philosophically is very similar to what we are, and the way that their coaches treat their players is very similar, and so their priorities are very similar. And so I think that's the initial draw. And then I think once our guys are there, there's such a tight-knit family atmosphere from our guys that they want to be with their guys.